Another week of Arizona State falling just short. The Sun Devils still seeking their first Power 5 win. They were not able to get it done against Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffaloes here tonight at Mountain America Stadium, falling to the Buffs 27-24. Nick Borgia, Devil's Digest, alongside our publisher, Hode Urbino, to break down this matchup. And Hode, it really did come down to the last second. The defense had done their part for most of the game, holding a very explosive Colorado offense to just 27 points overall. But it came down to the last drive for the Buffs as they were able to get one snuck in there.
Yeah, Nick, I mean, we talked in our preview about Arizona State needing to learn how to win. And as I said in my preview, you can call it another worn-out football cliche, but I think when it comes to Arizona State, that is one adage that really does stand true. Because you and I were in Berkeley a week ago today, and we saw a game that absolutely was in the grasp of ASU for victory, maybe not as dramatic as what we saw tonight, but nonetheless a game that really should have been in the win column for Arizona State. And offense and defense down the stretch were not able to make the plays necessary to win that game. And here we are with Arizona State scoring only 7 points in the second half, but that touchdown did tie the game with 50 seconds left. And you thought that maybe the defense, who played outstanding all night long, would be able to hold Colorado scoreless and have this game go into overtime, and who knows what happens at that point. But an absolute miscommunication in the secondary has Colorado with a huge passing play to their tight end to set up a 42-yard field goal to win the game. So here we are, Arizona State still back to square one in terms of learning how to win. That is something that eluded them last week in Berkeley, and it really was deja vu all over again tonight in Tempe.
So you touched on the offense there a little bit, only scoring 7 in the second half, which is not going to be enough against a powerhouse team like Colorado. But on one hand, Trenton Bourguet did take care of the football. They made plays that mattered, and they were maybe a little bit more conservative on fourth down this time around, which maybe helped them. Do you think there was a little bit left to be desired with the ASU offense?
Yeah, to me, Nick, it came down very simply to Cam Scatterbo. And this is not going to be a shocking news break, but this offense is going to go as far as Cam Scatterbo is going to take it. And even as Cam Scatterbo has some really good performances, and we saw that earlier in the year, then even then the offense sometimes does falter. But Cam Scatterbo was definitely on a pitch count tonight. He was banged up from that Cal game, and they definitely were very, very careful in how many snaps that we're going to give him. ASU as a team only rushed for 59 yards. Cam Scatterbo only had 47 yards rushing. Those are numbers that ASU just cannot expect to win games, even if Trenton Bourguet does pass for 335 yards. And I don't think it was a horrible game by Bourguet, but definitely not an outstanding game either. The offense did falter time and time again, like you said, especially in the second half, when the defense just gave them one opportunity after another. It really is just a worn-out script that is taking place in a lot of those ASU games. But nonetheless, that's where the Sun Devils find themselves tonight, too. Outstanding game by wide receiver Elijah Badger, who I think is really coming to his own the last 2 weeks. Tonight, 12 catches, 134 yards, and he also added a good chunk of kick return yards. Last week he had 200 all-purpose yards. He was probably pushing that figure tonight too, but we didn't see a whole lot from the other wide receivers. So it's just an ASU offense that sure has some playmakers, but when you're over-relying, in the case of Elijah Badger, when you really don't have the full complement of another playmaker like Cam Scatterbo, you're just an offense that's really scratching and clawing, and it really is a shame, Nick. This was the Colorado defense that was giving up on average about 40 points. And for ASU to score only 24, which basically amounted to almost like a last-second touchdown in the fourth quarter, it really is an opportunity missed. And again, if this sounds very reminiscent of what happened at Cal last week, that really is exactly the story, that this offense is not consistent in its effort, and more than anything, really not rewarding this defense, because this defense absolutely did play their tail off.
Yeah, so if ASU's last score was a last-minute score, then Colorado's last score was a last-second score. I mean, this ASU defense did hold the Buffs to 24 points before that last game-winning field goal. So before that play went down, before that sequence, How do you feel that the ASU defense just performed overall tonight?
Well, I think the Colorado offense, much like the ASU offense, was really one-dimensional. They really were not able to run the ball that well at all, and I felt that there was great pressure up front. We talked in our preview, Nick, that this is an offensive line for Colorado that has gave up a plethora of sacks. I mean, if they're not leading the Pac-12, they're definitely right up there, and tonight was really more of the same. I don't think that Shedeur Sanders was really comfortable for most of the night. I mean, sure, he had a long rushing touchdown that you could say was maybe the difference in this game, but nonetheless, I thought the defense really did a great job of holding this Colorado offense. I'm not going to say really containing them 100%, but they made life really, really hard on them. I mean, this is the Colorado offense. I mean, you can look at the whole season stats. Aside from Oregon, they score at will on any opponent, even against USC last week. And the Arizona State defense once again shows that they're the clear strength of this team. But just having a lapse in coverage with less than 50 seconds left, setting up for that winning field goal. Again, that comes back to learning how to win. Those are just not plays that you can give up, especially in such a crucial moment of the game. But look, I don't want to pit the offense against the defense too much over here, but if you're upset about the defense giving up that big play, okay, that's a valid criticism. But when you just look at the totality, this is a defense that absolutely gave Arizona State an excellent chance to win, to finally get that first Power 5 win, to finally get that first Pac-12 win, and to go into the bye week maybe just a little more momentum, a little boost of confidence. But here they are with a very, very cruel loss. And again, just another missed opportunity for the Sun Devils.
So ASU moves to 1-5 on the year, winless in the Pac-12, as you just mentioned, and now they head into the bye. I mean, where is this team at? Where are they mentally? What needs to change? What does Kenny Dillingham need to focus on as they head into the bye and prepare for the next half of the season?
Look, you can talk about this team really needing to do a lot of soul searching and looking themselves in the mirror and maybe having a players-only meeting and all that. And I don't think those things did not take place in the last week or two. But they just need really to provide effective results. And the cruel part of this, Nick, is that after the bye week, they're playing on the road in Seattle. So even if you feel like in the next 2 weeks you're making gains from a physical standpoint, maybe getting some of those injured players back, or just players like Scatterbo just healthier right now, even if you think that mentally you are in a better headspace than maybe you should be as a 1-5 team, what are you going to have to show for it when you're arguably playing the toughest game of the entire year, and on the road, no less? So I'm sure that Arizona State is going to try to do all the right things and say all the right things and have endless film sessions trying to fix all the shortcomings that this team is exhibiting, not only tonight, but really for the entire season. But the question is, again, are you going to be able to really correct that against arguably the best team in the Pac-12, some would say even a legitimate top 4 playoff team in the country? That's really a whole different story. I'm really curious to see what kind of Arizona State team we're going to see, coming out of the bye. But ultimately, I mean, how many more punches to the gut can you get, especially in the last 2 weeks, and still be able to stand up, shake it off, and just really have the confidence to play much better than you did the week before? Because right now we're just not seeing this from this Arizona State team. And again, if anybody had the formula of learning how to win, then I'm sure it would be a bestseller right now. But nonetheless, that is something that Arizona State really has to master. I don't know if they were able to do it again against an opponent like Washington, but that's something they're going to have to do to make sure that this season is somewhat respectable. But just to go into the bye week with a loss, especially such a bitter loss like this, trust me, I don't think there's any team in the country that would want to trade places with Arizona State right now.
So the Sun Devils go into the bye week this week, but the coverage of ASU football will continue at Devils Digest, so make sure you keep it locked in at DevilsDigest.com. Drop a follow at Devils Digest on Twitter. For Hoder Bino, my name's Nick Borgia. We thank you so much for tuning in, and we will catch you next time.